It's a bit late to tell me that now, isn't it?
Well, maybe so. But Professor Pilton goes abroad tomorrow for 3 weeks, so this is our last chance to talk to him.
There must be some other expert we can talk to instead.
Well, that's the whole point, Sarah. There isn't anyone else who knows as much about the latest developments in psycholinguistics as he does.
Psycho what?
Oh, I'll send Joe. Joe can go and see this man.
Joe's still out filming.
Is he indeed? And who arranged that?
You did, Mr. Stenhouse.
Oh, yes. Well, you'll just have to go, Sarah. That's all there is to it. We must have that background information, and we must have it today. I'm putting my foot down. I'm giving an order, and you are going to obey it for once.
No, I'm not.
Oh. I can't ask Prodip to go. He isn't here either, is he?
I'll go. Mr. Stenhouse, I'll do it.
You?
Yes, I can do it. Oh, this is amazing. It's like a Hollywood movie.
Billy, huh? The star is ill. Do you think I can play the lead role? Me? Me play the lead? Sure I can.
I'll get the information you need, Mr. Stenhouse. I know all about the subject. It was my hobby at school. I'm the perfect person to ask questions about psycho. That was a good movie, too. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that I'm stupid and naive. Well, that's where you're wrong. It's all a question of attitude, really. For me, life is like an unlocked door. Push it, and it'll open for you.
Mrs. Gibbs, when did you last see Bernie Raystrick?
About 3 weeks ago.
He hasn't been here since your husband died.
No.
Isn't that unusual, as he's your brother?
To be honest, Bernie and Matthew didn't get on very well. And anyway, Bernie was working. You know that.
Did he argue with your husband?
Like I said, they didn't get on very well.
So they did argue?
Once or twice, yes.
Your brother was staying at the same hotel as your husband on the night of the murder. You do know that, don't you?
No.
Well, he was.
The same hotel?
Yes.
Inspector, when I say they had arguments, I hope you're not going to think that Bernie might have killed him.
Mrs. Gibbs, was your brother one of the people who took video cassettes from your husband and sold them abroad?
No. I don't know. Look, you'll have to go. I'm tired and I don't want to talk anymore.
Those arguments that they had...
I said I don't want to talk anymore. I try and help you, and all you do is trick me into saying things about Bernie.
Mrs. Gibbs, we're only interested in...
I said I don't want to talk, and I won't. Now, this is my house.
All right, Mrs. Gibbs.
And I'm asking you to leave.
We can take a hint.
Goodbye.
I'll tell you this, Mrs. Gibbs. We're going to catch your husband's murderer, with or without your help.
Maxwell, if Lee's not at his flat, then find him wherever he is.
Right.
Raystrick's flight's due at 16:30. I'll pick him up. Whatever happens, I don't want the two of them to meet.
Right.
Crew, operations room.
Here we are.
What is it this time?
Mr. Raystrick, I would like you to accompany me in order to answer some questions about the murder of Matthew Gibbs.
I thought I'd done all that.
Mr. Raystrick, why didn't you tell us that Matthew Gibbs was your brother-in-law?
It didn't seem important. I mean, all you were asking me about before was where Alec Lee was between 7 and 8 that evening. That was all you wanted to know.
And you lied about that. At about 7:45, Alec Lee left you, got in the lift and went up to see Matthew Gibbs.
Yes, okay.
So he asked you to give him an alibi, to say that he was with you the whole time.
Yeah.
And you agreed?
Obviously.
You were prepared to lie, to protect a man who might have shot your own brother-in-law.
He didn't shoot him.
No?
No.
How do you know that?
Because I know Alec. I know the kind of person he is. He'd never do anything like that.
So why did he need an alibi?
He knew sooner or later you'd find out about the video business, and he didn't want you to discover that he'd been involved in it.
Were you involved in it?
Me? No.
You weren't?
I told you. I didn't get on with Matthew Gibbs. The last thing I would want would be to work with him.
But you're a member of an air crew. You were at the hotel the same night that he was staying there. And you knew about the video cassettes that he was distributing to other people. And yet you still insist that you knew nothing about it.
Why should I want to get involved in that kind of business?
For the same reason the others did. For the money.
I don't need the money.
Well, you are unusual.
My father died about 3 months ago, and he left me a great deal of money.
Really?
And you can check that yourself.
Don't worry, we will.
So, you've been working for Matthew Gibbs for about 6 months.
About that, yes.
How'd you get on with him?
Bernie Raystrick didn't get on with him, I know that.
Didn't he?
But I never had any problems with him myself.
You never had any arguments?
No.
What about money? About the amount you had to pay for the video cassettes?
No. Why should I?
Well, because you need money, don't you?
Well, so does everybody, don't they?
Not as much as you do.
We've been making some inquiries.
Oh,
We know that you owe your bank a lot of money.
a bit.
So what happened? Was there an argument about payments? Did Gibbs want you to pay even more? What did happen exactly when he went up to his room at 7:45 that evening?
Fascinating.
Oh, research.
Of course. May I?
Oh, let me help you.
The city of Bath is in the west of England. It is a city remarkable for the elegance of its architecture. Here in 1725, the architect John Wood revealed plans for a new style of building. This style later set the fashion for the whole of Britain. The first of John Wood's major achievements was Queen Square, completed in 1736. 20 years later, the circus was built. This was the first design of its kind in England. Wood wanted to create an unbroken architectural harmony in each building. These buildings may look like palaces, but they're really a group of individual homes unified behind the elegant facades. The work begun by John Wood was continued by other architects, including his son, and in the 1760s, work started on Royal Crescent. Many people see it as the finest expression of the new style. Pollution has begun to damage the famous Bath stone. It takes time, skill and money to keep old buildings in their original condition. Despite the practical difficulties, repairs and restoration continue in many parts of Bath. The centre of the city is now an uncomfortable mixture of the old and new. Many of the modern buildings have been designed with little thought for the other buildings around them. Offices, shops and car parks have been given priority. At best, they are uninteresting to the eye. At worst, they are offensive. These 20th century developments are a complete contrast to the achievements of an earlier age. For centuries, people have been coming to Bath for the sake of their health, attracted by the famous hot springs. Medical fashions may have changed, but the pump room, built at the end of the 18th century, is still a place to meet friends for tea or coffee, a place to chat or read the paper, a place to relax and listen to the music. Near the Abbey is the Great Bath, a Roman swimming pool. It is part of a system of 5 baths and 2 pools built here in Roman times, more than 1,500 years ago. The floor of the bath was originally made from 14 sheets of lead. Around the sides, stone steps lead down to the water. The Great Bath was only found in 1880, and excavations on this site are still continuing. Bit by bit, these excavations have revealed some of the most interesting Roman remains in Britain. These buildings even had an early form of underfloor central heating. The floor was supported by pillars and was heated from below by warm air, bringing warmth and comfort to the rooms surrounding the baths and the pools. The city of Bath is no longer the rich and fashionable place it once was, but its elegance and its sense of history continue to make it one of Britain's most attractive cities.
There's a word here I can't read. Your handwriting's awful.
There's nothing wrong with my handwriting, Corinne. It's probably just a long word. I keep forgetting you find long words rather difficult.
You think all women are stupid, don't you?
No, not all women, Corinne. Just some.
It's amazing you've never been murdered. Do you know that, Prodip?
Yes, amazing, isn't it? Now, which word did you mean?
That one there on the third line.
Oh, that one there? Well, that's...
Well?
It's... I'm afraid I don't know.
Why not?
I can't read my handwriting.
And therefore, to sum up, although language may not necessarily precede thought, nonetheless, the level of an individual's linguistic competence does, to a certain extent, delineate the parameters within which that individual's thinking is constrained to operate. Now, I think that's clear.
Oh, yes, yes, of course. And I agree with you. It's what my mother always used to say.
Really? Well, I hope you've got all the information you need.
I think so. Yes. Yes, thank you.
You've taken all the notes you want?
Yes. Yes, thank you. Fine.
I tell you what. Have a copy of my new book as a present. It may help you with your notes.
Students of the London Contemporary Dance School. The school was founded in 1966 and offers a 3-year course on all the major aspects of dance. It has become one of the main centers for the training of contemporary dancers outside North America, and it takes students in from many different countries. Miss Farber, can you tell me, when a student leaves your school, what kind of future do they have in front of them?
I only know that there are some dance companies. I know also that there are many more students than there's room for in dance companies. But in any case, whether they become dancers or not, they will have had an experience that's, I think, very unusual and rare and wonderful.
Well, what is that experience?
I think the experience of dancing can be, it isn't always, an experience of a person's total use of himself or herself. And I think there are probably all kinds of things one could say about society today that makes people feel they need to do something that's very personal. And dancing has become, for one reason or another, a kind of fashion, I think. Why? I don't know.
What gives you satisfaction in your job?
To see people change, to see their work change, to see, to be surprised, to have someone take what I give as a teacher and do something with it that perhaps I might not even have imagined. But mainly it's to see change.
Paulette, do you find it challenging being here?
Yes, because it never gets any easier. It's always, in the first year, it's trying to get your body together physically. And in the second year, you're getting steps and joining them together, and you think, oh, I can dance. And the third year is actually trying to forget about the technique and actually dancing. And you've got to have a balance of the two, which is very difficult to get. It's a challenge.
What kind of enjoyment do you get from dancing?
I think performing. I think the end result. This really gives you a big kick. Yeah.
And also when you can see what you've achieved. I mean, looking around at everyone else, you can see how much they've improved over the last 3 years. And, I mean, that's only 3 years. What are they going to be like in 10?
Well, what's especially good about this school?
I think it's established itself as a very good school with a sound technique and training that also offers other things apart from technique, like choreography and music and Tai Chi and how to teach and things like that.
Well, answer me this. Why do dancers always want to belong to a company?
Because that's where you'd get your experience. It's all very well moving from job to job, but you have to start from somewhere. And a company is the most greatest experience you can get. Then you can go on to sort of like doing choreography and doing other things. But once you've got the sound, training, performance experience, then you can go on into the arts and explore other forms.
Do you see yourself as a professional dancer?
I think it will have to be a mixture of everything. Everybody wants to dance. Everybody in the school will do everything to join a company and dance professionally. But choreography is like more, shall we say, more creative. Dancing itself is very creative as well, but choreography is the more creative thing, because this is creating the dance. And teaching as well, because once you got so much from someone or something or some school, it would be only fair enough to try and give it along if you're able to.
The profession is already overcrowded, so how do you feel about going out into a world like this when you finish training?
If you've come this far, you should just continue. There's no point in stopping, really.
The challenge facing dance in Britain today is its inability to reach a wide audience. It has always tended to be expensive and elitist. Well, these students are members of a school which is helping to extend the frontiers of dance as a popular art form.
But it's not right sending Billy to do something like that. It's too much for him.
I quite agree, but I had no choice. You weren't here, Prodip wasn't here, and Sarah wasn't very keen.
But Billy isn't a reporter, is he? It was a job for a reporter. I wonder what the union would have to say about that.
Oh, don't talk to me about unions. As far as I'm concerned, if a man can do the job, he does the job.
Yes, but what if he can't do the job?
Well, let's wait and see. Billy's writing up his notes now. Oh. I'm a great believer in giving young people a chance.
And I'm a great believer in getting the job done and done well.
And so am I. And it's my job to take decisions. I think you'll find they are usually the right decisions.
Joe, your tea's getting cold.
Thanks, Corinne.
You're welcome.
Don't worry about it. 2 weeks in the hospital and I'll be just fine.
I've finished, Mr. Stenhouse.
And who's Professor Williams?
He's the man I interviewed, isn't he?
Well, he may be the man you interviewed, but he's not the man you were meant to interview. Have you gone deaf or something? I said Professor Pilton, didn't I? Does Professor Pilton sound like Professor Williams?
Pilton, Williams, Pilton.
Oh, Billy, so help me, I'll...
Well, was it the right decision?
Well, perhaps I... Yes, of course it was the right decision. He's done a good job.
Really?
Yes, really, very good indeed. Well done, Billy.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Mr. Stenhouse. Parking meter?
Parking meter.